everybody. I'm Kim from Soul Synergy. I'm a massage therapist in downtown Round Rock, Texas, who specializes in ashiatsu, deep tissue pain management, as well as prenatal massages. I do a lot of work with people that have chronic tightness of the neck and shoulders. And a lot of times when I get people off the table, I'll try to, encourage some stretching on their part. And a lot of people just don't know how to stretch their body. A lot of people don't really feel their body and feel kind of where that stretch needs to take place. And sometimes right after a massage is not the most opportune time to take in new information. So I thought I would do this video to kind of share some of my favorite neck and shoulder stretches. So hopefully you can follow along. All right, so we're gonna set up in cross-legged position. You don't need a mat. If you have one, that's great. If you don't worry about it. All right, and we're gonna breathe our arms up, and we're gonna look up. Then we're gonna bring the left hand down and stretch up over to the left. And you really want to try to focus on kind of opening this chest area rather than the actual side bend. Okay, arms down, bring both arms up again, look up, right arm down, left arm goes over into a stretch. All right. We're gonna do the same thing with our arms up, look up. Now this time I'm going to have you bring your left arm back, right arm to your left knee. Step straight, and we're going to do a nice little twist. Hold it here for a breath or two, and release. Arms up, look up, breathe. Then our right arm goes back, left arm to right knee, and we twist. Breathe and set up tall. All right. And then we come back this way. So those are just some kind of really basic, stretches, some mobility that you can bring into the neck and shoulders. Just a little bit here, which is really nice. And then we're going to go into my two favorite shoulder stretches. So, what we're going to do is you're going to put your hands down, palms down, kind of by your hips. Your fingers are going to face towards your toes. Okay. We're going to set up straight and try to put those arms as straight as we can. And then we're going to lift our butt and bring it forward. All right. Now this might be a really intense stretch for a lot of people. This alone, it really kind of opens up the back, opens up the shoulders. Try to squeeze your shoulder blades together and push the chest up. That feels good. It feels like maybe you could go a little bit farther. You can actually bring your hips up into a reverse tabletop. So to do that, you just kind of lift up. This might be really intense. Right? If you're only able to go like this far, that's fine. No big deal. Right? A stretch is a stretch. Right? And then you can kind of pulse too. If you're real tight, sometimes that's helpful. Eventually you want to be able to hold whatever variation of this pose that you do, whether it's just scooting forward a little bit or actually lifting the hips up. You want to be able to hold that for, at least 3 to 5 breaths. And kind of really focus on opening the chest up and squeezing the shoulder blades together back there. Down again. So that's a really good one to kind of open up the front part of the shoulder. In my experience, everybody loves that back of shoulder work, but that's not where a lot of our issues are, in the shoulder and neck. So, it's mostly going to be coming from the pec area for most people. We tend to have very rounded forward shoulders. And it's a matter of bringing that back, and that alone releases a lot of the tension and stress on the back part of the muscle. Okay, so now we're going to go to my second favorite, shoulder stretch. This one's a little bit more complicated, so feel free to ask any questions, but I'm going to try to do my best to explain it very simply. So what we're going to do is we're going to come onto our bellies for this one. Right, onto our bellies. When you come up on your forearms and your elbows, you want them to be right underneath the shoulders there. And try to have a straight line. You know, don't stress about it though. And once you're there, fingers down, palms down on the mat, and you're gonna pull your elbows back towards the rest of your body. You see kind of how I'm pulling them back, and that really pulls the front part up and forward. You just want to bring the shoulder blades and squeeze them together as much as you can and look up. And then we're going to come back down and get ready for my favorite shoulder stretch. So we're going to put our arm out in front of us to the side, fingers down. Right? In the first variation of this, there are 3 different variations, and they all are based off of hand positioning, right? So the first one we're going to do is just straight out, nice and simple, and then we're going to roll over to the other direction. Now this arm is still going to be behind you, so I'm going to do it from this side so you can see a little bit better. Arm is straight out, and we roll over. Right? So this might be really good stretch, right? You might just be here, that's fine. Or if you're really flexible, you can kind of bring that twist on over, right? And that shoulder is just going to be behind and back you, or in back of you. It might be intense, but it shouldn't be super painful. So our other variations of that are just different positionings of the hand. So I'm going to set up to show you guys. Okay, so for the original one, we just did this, right? Just arms out, right? For this one, we're going to take it up into a 90-degree angle, right? So here, and then do the thriller one here. So here and here. All right, arm out. I'm going to pop it up into that 90-degree angle, and then I'm going to twist over to the side. The same as we did in the last stretch. So, let me show you what it looks like from this side. So it's the exact same. Now, I'm a lot tighter in this area, the specific muscles that this variation targets. So I'm not as able to twist as deeply, right? And that's okay. We don't want to force it. Right, we just want to allow things to be how they are so that we can release them. Yeah, and the more you do the stretch, the stretchier you'll get. So, you know, I won't say practice makes perfect, but it does make for a deeper stretch. Okay, other one, right? The Michael Jackson one. That's what I like to think of it. It's like a thriller type of move. And then we're coming up over. Now that one that is down is the same for me. Not quite as flexible as I am when it's just straight out. And that's okay. That's why I like to do all 3 of them, because they kind of target different muscles. So I guess you could really say this is 3 different stretches, but it's really just one. You just have a different positioning of your hand. Okay. Then you're going to come up and go into that baby cobra again. Stretching forward. All right. And now for our last stretch is more of a neck specific stretch that involves some twisting, but you're really only twisting, this upper portion of the shoulders and the neck. So one thing you can do, let's go over so you can see a little better, is you can put your hand down on the ground, and then we're going to twist to either side. Now it might feel better if you have your hand backwards, Another thing you can do is have this arm down, and then you can bring this arm to the back and grab hold. And that gives you a really nice stretch on both sides, and it targets different muscles. So on this left side, I'm really feeling the shoulder pull back, and it's really allowing me to get into the SCM, the scalenes, all of these side neck muscles, which can be very problematic in people. And then you change sides, so you kind of play around with it. What does that feel like? My left shoulder today is a lot tighter than my right shoulder. Not normally the case, but for whatever case it is today. And bring that arm, the right arm back around. And play around with the same stretching, right? And then just side to side, you're really only moving the neck and maybe the very top of the shoulder. But this kind of stretching that really, twisting that isolates this neck and shoulder is really beneficial for neck and shoulder pain. So those are just a few of my favorite stretches, and I hope they're helpful in some way. All right, see you later. Thanks.